The world mourning Pope Francis, who passed away Monday at the age of 88. His death certificate says he died of stroke and irreversible cardiovascular arrest. The pontiff, who suffered double pneumonia this year, also fell into a coma. Following his death, seals were placed on the Pope's residence at the Vatican. Francis, who was known to be a simple pope, lived in a small suite in a guest house. No date has been set yet for the funeral, but the Vatican says it could take place between Friday and Sunday. Meantime, prayers and tears from worshipers fill St. Peter's Square. His death came as a shock following his public appearance there on Easter Sunday, where he even greeted crowds from an open-air Pope-mobile.
Una grande tristezza, una bella persona.
A great sadness, a beautiful person. He will be greatly missed. Finding one the same is difficult.
I think he was a good pope like John Paul II. I liked him as a pope, same as John Paul II.
The rest of the world also holding tributes for Pope Francis. A special mass was held in his hometown of Buenos Aires, Argentina. Worshippers also lit candles and laid flowers for the first Latin American pope. The government declared 7 days of mourning. Catholics in Gaza also remembering Francis, who used his Easter message to call for a ceasefire in the war-torn area.
He's very close to us all the time. He called us during all this war, this horrible war, for more than 1 year and a half. Daily, he called us and to ask for peace, to pray for peace, and to give the blessing for all Gazan people and for all the Palestinians.
In France, hundreds of Catholics attended a tribute mass at Notre Dame Cathedral. The cathedral's bells tolled 88 times, symbolically representing each year of the Pope's life. Church bells also rang out across the Philippines, where Francis was affectionately known by the nickname Lolo Kiko. He is a beloved figure here in the country, which he visited in 2015. Francis visited victims of Typhoon Haiyan and held a mass attended by millions of devotees despite the rains.
Malaking dagok din yun sa simbahan, no? Kasi bilang sa amin mga kabataan din, isa siyang halimbawa Malaki siyang halimbawa sa amin na siya yung aming sinusundan, no? Since he is a vicar of Christ.
Para sa akin po, parang na-serve naman niya po yung purpose na bilang Pope. I think naging magaling naman po siya sa trabaho niya bilang parang leader ng nating mga Katoliko. Kaya ayun, nakakagulat and nakakalungkot din po at the same time.
Bilang isang Katoliko, isang Kristiyano Katoliko, dagdagan natin yung panalangin para kay Pope Francis, para din sa ikapapayapa ng kanyang kaluluwa.
A man of profound faith and humility. That's how President Bongbong Marcos describes Pope Francis. He says Francis taught the world to be a good Christian by extending kindness and care. Marcos adds the Pope's life brought hope and compassion and was an inspiration to love one another. As for U.S. President Donald Trump, he hails the Pope as a good man.
I just signed an executive order putting the flags of our country, all of them, all federal flags and state flags, at half-mast in honor of Pope Francis. So he was a good man, worked hard, he loved the world, and it's an honor to do that.
Meanwhile, King Charles, who met with Francis earlier this month, honored the Pope for his compassion and commitment to all people of faith. Meanwhile, the UN chief lauds the Pope as a voice for peace, human dignity, and social justice.
Pope Francis was a man of faith for all faiths, working with people of all beliefs and backgrounds to light a path forward. Through the years, we at United Nations were greatly inspired by his commitment to the goals and ideals of our organization a message I was honored to convey in my meetings with him as Secretary General. Our divided and discordant world will be a much better place if we follow his example of unity and mutual understanding in our own actions.
Pope Francis was known as a maverick during his time as head of the Catholic Church. He was revered for his courage and progressive stance on a wide range of social issues, often breaking tradition in an institution long rooted in conservatism. In an interview on BNC's It's a Beautiful Day, Father Greg Gaston, rector of the Pontifical Colegio Filipino in Rome, reflects on the legacy of Pope Francis.
That's why we always say that Pope Francis is, truly very progressive, because progress has been different now and in the past, but the same charity, the same love. Well, I would say that all the popes would simply continue the message of Jesus, which is precisely love, as you mentioned. So in a way, yes, he is progressive, maybe in the way that he would express the same love of Jesus 2,000 years ago, and all the popes would try to do that. In fact, each one of us, hopefully, we also try to manifest this love of Jesus. So,
Let's talk more about the Pope's legacy with Father Aris Sison, spokesperson of the Catholic Diocese of Cubao. Father Aris, good afternoon to you. Good to see you.
Good afternoon, Mike. Good afternoon to all of our viewers.
We all know the Pope's health has been very fragile lately, but his death still came as a shock. Well, what do you think will the Pope be best remembered for?
I think Pope Francis will be remembered for a number of things. But for me, first of all, will be on his emphasis on mercy. That's a theme that he has touched on so many times. He declared 2016 as a Jubilee Year of Mercy. And the Filipinos, in a very special way, felt that when he came here in 2015 after Typhoon Yolanda.
Yes. Yes. What do you think? In what ways did he continue his predecessor's work? And in what ways did he change them?
Pope Francis had a unique way of touching the lives of people. And I would say he did this not just through his words, but more specifically through his gestures. Remember when he came here, how he hugged those who lost their loved ones in Tacloban, how those gestures will never be forgotten by the people that he touched and the people who saw what he did.
Yes, that was most memorable. It came just about 13 or 14 months since Typhoon Haiyan or Yolanda hit Tacloban. All right.
Yeah, I remember very well that after he saw the news of the damage brought about by Typhoon Yolanda, he said, I need to go there. And he did come.
He's also known for his closeness to the people that he served. Did you have any personal encounters with the Pope?
Unfortunately, I never had a chance to meet Pope Francis personally. But I've even just seeing him from a distance made me feel that he's really a different Pope. Somehow I felt close to him.
Well, what's next for the Catholic Church, do you think? What does Pope Francis's laws mean for Filipino Catholics? And not even Catholics, because I think Pope Francis touched so much more, even non-Catholics, people of all religions.
One of the messages I read this morning were messages of condolences from the Bangsamoro. Just imagine, he touched the lives not just of Christians, but even of non-Christians. because one of the many things he did was he tried to bring people together, saying all of us are brothers,
Yes.
even though we come from different races, different religions. All of us are brothers. One of his encyclicals was entitled Fratelli Tutti. All of us are brothers. That's one of the messages he kept repeating.
Yes, that's why he touched so much more, so many people other than Catholics. He stood for openness, fairness, inclusivity, and his ideals of social justice will be best remembered. Now let's talk about the Pope's successor. Many people are talking about that now. What are you personally looking for or hoping for in the next pontiff?
Pardon me, Mai, but the Holy Father just died yesterday. I think it's too early. It's too
Yes.
early to speak about that. I believe we should spend these days uh, mourning his passing, praying for the repose of his soul, and recalling the many happy experiences we had together. Um, I think it's too early.
Yes.
The conclave will not begin until 15 to 20 days after his passing. So these first days of his death, the first 9 days are called novendiales. These are days of prayer. We will have masses in all churches, in all dioceses for his passing. Um, 4 to 6 days in 4 to 6 days, we will be having his funeral. Only after that will be will the cardinals come together for the conclave.
I agree completely. There should be a respectable time for mourning. People are still grieving, and we should remember Pope Francis and grieve his loss. Father Aricison, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.